Paul looks like a Jersey Shore boy dad. Who the is babysitter while making pizza?
Yes, hello. Welcome back to the Pop-Up with Paul and Friends. You're here. You made it. You subscribed. You liked. You reviewed. Maybe you clicked for the first time. Regardless, I'm glad you're here. Each week, we are doing really fun episodes and really fun interviews right here in this seat. You know what I love about doing this show and also being a comedian here is I get to meet and network with so many cool fellow comedians, fellow podcasters. I also want to say I feel like the show is like becoming international chat. Like we always have different people on from all over the world, and this is no different this week. I just did her podcast, which was in her car, but we turned off the engine for audio, so I look a little sweaty. She might too. We did her show. Now we're in here doing my show, which is in a hot garage, which also maybe it's cooler. I don't know, but we're gonna just keep the hot seat going. Put your hands together for Cat C, everybody.
Wow, thank you for having me, Paul, in your garage. Now I feel like this is heaven comparing to my hot car.
Well, thank you for having me in your car. It was cool.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't cool, but the show was cool. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is pretty cool car. It's just like we cannot turn on the air because the air will cause too much background noise.
You're a smart professional podcaster. You made sure the audio was good. Honestly, I loved it because I feel like I lost a little bit of water weight. And also, I just met you, so I got to really get to know you doing like hot yoga in your car with you.
This is very LA thing to do. Like you get to know each other by doing hot yoga together.
Yeah. I'll do your podcast every day. I won't do hot yoga with you, though. I can't. I would never do it. Can you just put the mic a little bit closer to your mouth? Because the closer you are in here, the better for our audio.
Can you guys hear me better now?
We hear you great.
Yeah.
So, Cat C, did you shorten your name?
Yeah, so my name is like a Catherine Chen. Sounds like too old school, I guess.
Yeah. Casmarin? What is it?
Catherine.
Oh, Catherine. Yeah.
Catherine, short for cat. I mean, like
Cool.
all my friends call me cat. Like, my dad don't like call me cat. My dad was like, oh, cat sounds like a porn star name.
You're like, perfect. It's my stage name now, Dad.
Yeah, like all my like younger friends, like nowadays, younger generation prefer shorter names, right?
Yeah.
Like, all my friends, one of my best friends said, I just want to call you Cat.
Yeah.
You should use that as your stage name. So
Nice.
Yeah.
So, you're from China and you came over here
Yeah.
how long ago? And what was that like coming to America? How old were you? I want to hear about
Like
this story.
17 years ago.
Wow.
Gosh, it feels
So you
like
were
a
2.
century.
You're only 2 years old. Wow.
No, yeah, like I'm like literally 100 years old because I'm Asian. Just joking. No, yeah, I've been here for a while. Like I feel like this is like a hometown. So, yeah. Thank you, Paul.
Of course,
yeah,
I got
you're
you.
such a great podcaster as well.
Oh, I got you. Come on. So you come over from China, and what's it like coming to LA? And also, like, did you feel like when you grow up in LA from a different country, you're like, oh, it's showbiz. I got to go I'm a comedian. I got to do something in this business because it's everywhere here.
Yeah, because when I moved to LA, it's just such a natural thing. You get into the industry, right?
Yeah.
And like when you grew up in LA, it's like everyone you know sort of has been on set. Like I did my first commercial when I was young, and then I got my first commercial agent, and that's how I got into the industry. And then started taking improv class. Like, yeah.
There you go.
People think everyone is actor in LA, which is true, including homeless people.
Yeah. They're acting like they're not on drugs.
Yeah.
So terrible.
Yeah, totally. Like everyone had a dream here. It's just the homeless people just when their dream didn't come true.
I know. It's honestly, homelessness is sad here. I joke about it too much on stage because it's, I'm new to here, so I see them everywhere, and it's a sad situation. Obviously, I'm going to be compassionate about it.
Yeah, so it's not like that in Jersey.
We have homeless in New York a lot too. I think it's been worse since the pandemic for most major cities though. Like I was in Philly last year and it was like very, homeless everywhere. So I think it's sad across the board. Right. I do think it's a stereotype of LA though that's very real. Like I don't want to take my kids to the beach here anymore. Like as a dad, I'm like very protective now because some guy told me he was going to stab my whole family last time we were in Santa Monica, and I was like, maybe we should just go to the Jersey Shore instead of here. But there's good places everywhere. You got to,
You got to be careful,
I feel bad.
Especially go to Venice Beach. They said there may be like needles in the sand.
I know. So you came from China. What was that experience like for you? Because that's a shell shock kind of crazy change of culture to come from China to America, no?
Yeah, I mean, like I think if I moved to like a Midwest or somewhere other besides LA, it would be super like difficult for me to adapt. But
Yeah.
like LA is such a diverse city. Like, the place I moved to is called San Gabriel Valley, which is the real Chinatown.
Oh, really?
People don't know. They think, oh, downtown Chinatown is Chinatown. No, San Gabriel Valley is like another valley, right? So here,
Nice.
Studio City, Sherman Oaks, we say we're from Valley.
Yeah.
And then people say, where are you from? I say, another valley. It's SGV, we call
Oh,
San
cool.
Gabriel Valley.
Nice.
That's where like Pasadena, like Arcadia.
Got it.
Most like Asian. Even our mayor is Chinese.
Nice. Two things. I love the Chinese culture. I know how to say ni hao. Do you speak Mandarin or
Mandarin,
You make
yeah.
is ni hao Mandarin? It is, right?
Yeah, ni hao is Mandarin.
Ni hao's hello.
Yeah, I mean hello.
So I lived in Chinatown, New York City for 10 years. So I don't think you knew this. So
did?
all my neighbors were Chinese, and I learned a lot met a lot of great Chinese families down there. And I have a show in Chinatown in LA tonight. So I feel like this is very meant to be that
Oh,
I'm hanging
tonight?
with you, talking China, the fake Chinatown downtown though.
Yeah, downtown Chinatown. That's
Yeah.
like for tourists. Because honestly, I feel like Chinatown has this thing. It always looks like a rundown Chinatown.
Yeah.
I feel like why every Chinatown in every major city in America, San Francisco, New York, LA, look like a rundown. Looks like a China from like thousands of years ago.
Yeah. They want it to look vintage. They go, it's got a lot of life for this one.
Yeah, they may think that's Chinatown is supposed to look like, right? Yeah.
Well, I grew up, going to New York City, going to Chinatown. It's where we bought fake bags, fake IDs. We used to go there to get all the fake stuff. They all had it there. And then I lived it. And I ended up living there, and I loved it. The best was I used to get $5 noodles for dinner, like, barely scrapping money together for rent. And I would just get cheap noodles. And it was always amazing food. I think Chinese food is the best drunk food in America, actually.
Yeah, it's like a best, like a hangover food,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Now, wait. Do you have a strong opinion on authentic Chinese food? Like American Chinese is different than China.
Yeah, totally. I'm glad you got that because like American Chinese food is more like General Tso chicken.
Yeah.
Or those like Americans invented. I mean, Chinese American invented that.
Mm-hmm.
Like authentic Chinese food. Like if you go to like even here Din Tai Fung.
Yeah.
Or like some other authentic Chinese restaurants, it's kind of different.
Yeah.
It's a less like sodium. It's lighter. Yeah. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I think Panda Express is pretty good as a Chinese.
That's like me saying Sabaro's good, but you know what? Food is food. I mean, it's good. It's not terrible.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
pizza, yeah.
So if you can only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, mozzarella. Anything mozzarella. I love mozzarella and olive oil. I could eat both those forever. A little
Yeah,
salt. Yeah.
I
What
do.
about you?
I would say sushi.
Sushi. Wow.
Yeah, it's very LA kind of thing, right?
Sushi here is amazing.
Sushi in LA is so good.
Now, did your parents come over for work, or what was it like back then?
Yeah, like, I have a family here, like, lots of Chinese, like to come to America for their American dream.
Sure.
And yeah, it's just very easy to adapt the culture here in LA.
That's good. Yeah.
Because lots of, like, if you go to like a San Gabriel Valley, you can see so many Chinese live there. They don't even speak English.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious actually. When did you learn English going to school here? Like because
I mean, we learned a little bit back in China as
Yeah.
well, but it's not like, the English you would actually use. You
Right.
know? But I mean, like, I think we learned the most English here. And you would be surprised, like in China, they actually learn like a standard British English.
right.
And like here, I mean, like in America, it's different. But I feel like, yeah, it's just like through the daily life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I remember reading an article about the Chinatown in New York that there were kids there that grew up that did not know. It was so Chinese back in the day it still is. They didn't learn English and did not know, like it just what they thought it was China. Like not that they didn't know it was America, but I mean like they didn't know anything but Chinese because it was the language, it was all the places, the schools. That's so interesting to me. Like to me, it's like the last authentic neighborhood in New York because it still has that community that's like that. Like everyone usually leaves New York, I feel like, in the Manhattan part, like all the different cultures, but the Chinatown in New York, I feel like is still very strong and a lot of communities and families there.
Yeah, I feel like you saw lots of like movies always try to feature Chinatown, New York, right? It's like sort of landmark. Yeah.
Where in LA do I need to go to get the best authentic Chinese food?
Oh, come to San Gabriel Valley.
I'll come over.
It's
Is it
another
your
valley.
mom's? Or no, it's a place.
Oh, there are so many. Like San Gabriel Valley is like huge. There is the Alhambra, Montreal Park, Arcadia. Just it's like several kind of cities in East LA.
Yeah.
Hundreds Chinese restaurants.
Nice.
It's crazy. Yeah.
You're making me hungry.
Yeah, I know. Now I feel like I want some sushi as well.
Right? I know, a little hybrid there.
Yeah.
So we did a show together, and you do shows all over LA. You're very funny. You obviously talk about where
thank
you're
you.
from, and how important is it to you to tell your story on stage and talk about all this stuff, but make it funny because you're so clearly a product of where you're from, but you're also born and raised in LA. You're like a very interesting mix. Came from there, but you've been here so long. You have a good blend.
Yeah, I feel like lots of my jokes is kind of based on like a culture difference, right? Like, immigrant parents, and then I'm trying to expand my jokes, not just focus on being Asian.
Right.
Like, I feel like there are lots of stereotype jokes there as well.
Yeah. Is it hard? Is it a challenge, like, to write differently? Like, it's...
I would think, yeah, writing is definitely hard. Like you talked about that earlier in my podcast,
yeah.
writing, because some people like writing.
Yeah.
Like for me, writing is also hard.
Yeah.
Like, especially as a comedian, you constantly have writing new jokes, right? That's why I start getting into like roast, because for doing roast, I force myself writing new jokes. Otherwise,
That's a great challenge.
Yeah, it is great because it's also like punchline. I think
Yeah.
nowadays people said you better deliver your punchline quicker and faster. Like,
Yeah.
When we start doing shorter sets, you don't have time to build like stories, right?
Right.
So like doing roast, I force myself to writing new jokes.
Well, listen, you told me earlier on your podcast you do roasts. I'm intrigued by the roasts. I've never done one, but
Yeah.
can we roast each other on this show real quick? Do you want a minute to come up with one for me, and I'll come up with one for you?
I think maybe at the end of the show.
By the
I
end of this
would-
show.
Yeah, I would come up with one. But I also feel like sometimes doing roast is so mean, and there's lots of like very, how to say? I don't know, is your podcast PG or not?
No, I'd like for you to be as the meanest you could possibly be to me on my show by the end, please, because I need to. You're my gateway into the roast world. So the meaner you are, I want to feel how it feels.
Okay.
And then I'll try and get you back, and then maybe we'll go do a roast show together, and we'll have it documented as our first one.
You know what, Paul? This would be a great idea as well because, like, doing the podcast, we get to know each other, right?
Yeah.
So, like, now I learned new process writing roast is normally I ask my opponent,
Yeah.
like, questions about himself. They
Okay.
say, hey, tell me about yourself. And then we will, he will ask me the question, right?
Great.
So then we'll start kind of build up the jokes.
Okay.
Like based on like how much I know you, like say like your childhood, how do you grow up and everything. So
Sure.
like, it's sort of like you come up with kind of get to know this person first.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause-
Well, all right. So ask me one or two for your prep, and I'll do the same.
Okay, so let's see, Paul. I already know you're from Jersey, right?
Yeah.
So that is already. It's normally I start. Where are you from?
Yeah.
And
New
like,
Jersey.
what do you like to do when you're not doing hosting or comedy?
I like pizza, cigars, fatherhood. I like how fatherhood came
So you like being a
third.
dad?
Love being a dad. I love smoking cigars. I like drinking whiskey or beer when I'm in a drinking mood. I haven't drank in a little bit. I'm taking a break, but I like being with my friends.
Okay.
I love cooking for parties. I play basketball.
Because you are Italian, you love cooking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you could go hard in the paint. If you go against the Italian, it'll work because I think I'm every stereotype. I love The Sopranos, Goodfellas. What else? Olive oil is my favorite food. My grandparents came over from Italy, and I drive a Jeep.
Okay.
Is that good context for you?
Yeah, I'm gonna start to sinking all the information
Yeah,
right
start
now.
roasting me in your head, and then
so
we'll
at
get
the
something.
end, I want to come up with one joke.
Perfect. One job. I'm going to do
Yeah.
the same for you. I need to ask you, though. So I know you
Yeah.
came from China,
Right.
just San Gabriel Valley, right?
Yeah.
What do you do when you're not doing comedy, podcasting, or funny bits on your social media?
So I do like work out a lot and like swim every day and spend time with my dog.
Okay, so far I have a great LA roast for you because you're very LA with that answer.
And
You swim every day and you hang with your dog. Okay,
hang out with my dog.
and your boyfriend.
my boyfriend, he's a typical. He's not in the industry, but he's in the video game industry.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually,
Interesting.
I just had the joke for my boyfriend, like, about what he does for his work.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do that joke, like, next time I get on stage.
Nice.
Yeah.
In my head, for some reason, I'm thinking of a roast that rhymes, like it's a freestyle. It doesn't have to rhyme though, right?
No, you don't have
In my
to.
head, I want it to rhyme. So I'm all right. All right. So I got your backstory. You got mine.
Yeah.
As we continue this interview, we're going to roast each other at the end. A little bit of pressure to figure out my first
I know
roast
it
ever.
is pressure for me as well.
But that's good. It's practice for us. Nobody, I mean, we're not on stage. It's just
And
some
also,
people.
yeah, it's kind of hard. It's like, you don't have time to build up story. Basically, for roasting, it's
setup.
one punchline there.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
hit it so hard, so quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny though. I will come up with something. I think we both have enough specifics to make fun of, So what brought you to the stand-up stage? You come over, you've obviously grew up in LA and you were doing improv first, and then how long have you been doing stand-up?
Like couple years, because when I was doing improv, I met lots of like comedy writer and comedians in our improv class, and they were like, "Oh yeah, Kat, maybe you can try to do stand-up." And also like the school I went to, sometimes they do stand-up comedy sets there, and I was like, "Okay, maybe I should do that."
And there you go. You got right in.
Yeah, dabbling in.
Have you done like I know you produce shows as well, but you asked me that similar thing, but like what do you feel like you want to do next with stand up? Because I feel like you're doing shows all over town. So you're going to go on the road, or do you want to record a special? What do you feel like you want to do?
I do want to do special. I mean, like I'm not this kind of person who like travel, get on tour. I know it sounds so weird. Being a stand-up comedian, how can you don't like tour? I mean, I would like a tour in Vegas.
You could pick the cities you go to, eventually.
Yeah, because I just don't think I would do well in the Midwest, some parts of America. Like my joke seems too Hollywood, too.
You think?
Yeah. I just have to really kind of maybe expand my joke writing
I think you
to
can.
different style.
I think
Yeah.
you'd be funny anywhere. It's just a matter of, like anything with stand-up, you got to cater to where you are, and you'd have to lean into where you are. That's what I love about stand-up, though. Like, you really have to write around the moment. You can't just rely. If you do the same set in every city, it's unless
Yeah.
you're like Seinfeld. I think you have to kind of morph a little, right?
Yeah, I have to definitely also trying to kind of like, write more universal jokes, not just focus on jokes about here, like to LA. So like,
Yeah.
I think lots of my jokes are to LA.
You think?
Yeah, because the last time I did a show in Orange County, it's like not a good parts of OC. OC can be very Republican, right? So like those people don't understand my joke at all. It's too Hollywood.
So you need more Trump jokes. All right, I can help you with that if you want. I'm not a Trump guy, but I'll write Trump jokes if you want. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, totally. Like, I never done any like political jokes.
I don't either, actually.
You don't?
No.
Yeah.
You know why? Because everyone, it's a topic of discussion for a whole country. So for me, I'd rather just be evergreen, and I don't really care who you vote for. I'd rather you just laugh at my jokes.
Right.
I do a pretty bad Trump and Biden impression sometimes, but I haven't done it on
Oh,
stage
can you
yet.
do that?
Yeah, let me try my Biden for you.
Yeah.
Hey, what is it? Where am I, man? Let's go. Hey, you gotta. Oh, hello there, pretty girl. How old are you? Joe Biden, everybody. Thank you. What do you think? Not the
Yeah.
funniest.
So you reminded me a little bit of him. I almost forgot what he sounds like.
He kind of sounds like he's like, I guess kind of go. He doesn't really. He kind of peters off with
Right.
speaking English. It's kind of like, today we're celebrating. Oh, so I got to sing over there, man. Come on, man. And just the farther gets in. And eventually I just become an Irish guy. For Lorla, for like Irishin. I'm just kidding. It's terrible. I'm not a good impressionist. Are you?
No, I'm horrible. I admire those people can do characters.
Voices, yeah.
Yeah, because like, the improv school here in LA, at a time, like so many of my friends went to Groundling, right? Because Groundling is really much about it, character driven. I just don't have that talent to do characters. I admire those people, like comedians
Yeah.
can do character, or like they can do impressions, right? Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I can never do that.
Do you do voices of like your family or anybody like in your set? Do you ever do like
I
family
wish
members?
I could. You know what? I admire those comedians that can do like they can turn down the accent or turn it off. They're
Yeah.
so good at.
Yeah.
I'm not. Look at Joe Coy. He's good at like
The
doing the
accents?
accent
Yeah.
stuff. And I think Daryl Hamill obviously he's good with like
Yeah.
impression
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. How about you, Paul? Do you do like?
I don't touch him really. Clearly, I do a half-baked Biden. I think I'm working on material more, but it would be fun to like. I did Mark Wahlberg one early
Oh
on.
yeah.
Yeah, but even that one, I'm telling you, I'm not. I would just be like, "Hey, what's up, cat? How you doing there? Yeah, what do you got? That little seltzer there? Wow, it's really cool. What's going on? You got cool shoes there? Yeah. Oh, what's going on here? You know, just hanging out, having a good time. Most of these impressions you can't even really hear, right? Anyway, how's your mother doing? That's basically my Mark Wahlberg.
That's cool. So can you do accents as well? Like
A few.
like you can do like Boston accent.
Well, you know, you think it's smart to come up here, my side of town, right? Because I still sound like Mark Wahlberg over here when I talk like in a Boston accent, huh? Listen, up in Boston, what we do a lot of the times is we fight each other, you know, because I'm from Southie, but you don't want to fuck with me there. Now I'm going more Irish again. Before I can't do it. That's it. I also do impression of my wife. You want to hear impression of my
Oh
wife?
my gosh! Please, I want to see that.
You're not on stage. Thank you. That was my impression of my wife.
Oh my gosh.
Just kidding.
That's
Just
so
kidding. She does
funny.
that to me a lot, though. You're not on stage. Stop testing out a bit. You're not on stage. Talk. Hey, you're not doing a bit. We're talking.
So does your wife support you do comedy?
Yeah, she does actually.
Oh,
Believe it
that's
or not.
good.
Believe it or not, she supports me being on stage, and she's never really given me trouble for going to do a show. And you know, as a father, it's a responsibility, but I'm grateful she's cool with me developing. Because you know, with stand up, it takes so long to figure out your voice, your time, to make money doing it, and similar. I think we're in the long haul for getting better and getting stronger up there, and it takes time. So yeah, I'm grateful.
Yeah, it's like a marathon, right?
Yeah.
Plus, I feel like, stand-up comedy, the career can go so long. You know, we have like the rest of our life to figure it out.
Totally.
Hopefully that doesn't take that long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? Your boyfriend's not in the business, but you guys been dating for a while?
Yeah, my ex-boyfriend actually didn't want me to do stand-up comedy. That's why we broke up.
Wow.
Yeah.
You picked comedy over him. Good for you.
Yeah, he was like, I did that in my, stand-up sets as well. Like, talk about it. He doesn't want me to do stand-up comedy. He's like, you need to make new moves in your career. So I choose to move out.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
Why wasn't he into it? Was he insecure? You joke about him and his weird
Oh,
stuff?
no, I think it's just like, he doesn't want me go out every night to like do,
He's
it's-
territorial. He was.
He just feel like, stand-up comedy career is so difficult, right? And that's why I ask you, does your wife support what you do?
Yeah.
It takes some special partner to support what you do.
Yeah.
And I don't think, he doesn't like comedy that much. And
Sounds like a fun guy.
yeah.
Doesn't
so-
like laughing.
yeah, he's like, he hates stand-up comedy.
Wow.
Because I remember he said this to me. I used to watch lots of stand-up comedy special. He said, it's so depressing. He hates it.
People laughing? That's so funny. Wow.
He just said, I sense so much depression.
Oh, gosh.
Like, I might understand that, like, a comedy always associated with, like,
Yeah, comedy
comedians.
and tragedy, yeah.
Comedy comes from tragedy, right? And he just said, oh, I sense so much depression in stand-up comedy.
I mean, you could say that about any profession, though. Think about it.
Exactly. That's what it's just like, because I think we are more under the microscope.
Yeah, of
Like
course.
every profession, you could be a truck driver, you could be depressed.
Pretty sure depression's
It's
across
everywhere.
the world for any job. It's mental. It's the person, not the job, right?
Yeah, I think it's just people kind of like, see stand-up comedian associated with depression.
We're a good scapegoat for the pointing the finger. What was his job? Just so I can rip on the X for a second.
He works in the banking.
Oh, okay. Oh, he works in the banking. I sense a lot of depression and douchebaggery, bro. I'm glad it didn't
Like
work out. Sorry to
offended.
talk trash. And for anybody in banking, I
Yeah.
don't think you're all depressed, but I don't understand what you do.
Yeah.
And I owe you money.
He likes the numbers.
There's a certain brain for numbers, and it's not mine. Are you good with numbers? I'm not.
Yeah, I know, especially for female comic, it's a bit different as well. I think some guys, they just don't like their girlfriend.
They want to control the speech, maybe.
Yeah.
Controlling men don't want women to say things, maybe. That's messed up.
I mean, like, for male comics, it's a bit different as well, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, for female comics, it's a little bit different. That's why lots of female comics are like, it's so hard to find the right, partner to support them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I think a good guy will support that that's your dream and you're working at it. And the cool thing about stand-up is like, what I love about it is the humility. Anybody in this field gets up in the middle of the night and works on their craft. And it's like, that doesn't go away when you make a lot of money or you have a lot of people watching. You're still going to get up in the middle of the night. I've seen the biggest comics in the world on stage at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, just working out stuff. It's not like you're ever above doing the work in this form. And I actually think as a good partner would admire the work ethic and go, oh, they're working, they're developing,
Yeah, I think it takes someone to understand that.
And it takes an even special depressed person to do it. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Hey, comedy comes from tragedy, right? But I do notice, I don't know how you feel about this, Paul. I feel like the younger generation comedians are very different because we talked about this yesterday with another comedian. Because now there are so many outlets. You don't have to go hang out at a club until midnight to get those gatekeeper to approve you.
Right.
Because I remember those older comedians told me, said, "Oh, you guys are so lucky. Back in their time, the only way you get booked in the show, you had to get booked by the
booker, the door."
Yeah, but booker. But nowadays, if you think you're funny, you can create a sketch.
Totally.
Put it on internet.
Right.
Let the whole society decide that you are funny or not.
Yeah, I love that. You're right. It's more ways to enter and get on stage. And then the work happens on stage. The writing and making people laugh is what happens on stage. But you can get on in different ways.
Yeah, exactly. And also nowadays, you can record your set. And then you see lots of comedians, they put their, clips.
Yeah, I just started doing that.
Internet, right? Yeah. And then, maybe this club don't think you're funny, but the other people saw the clips. They're like, oh, my God, this guy's funny, right? They're like, oh, yeah.
Sure.
So,
now, I know you've had some success in that arena on social media. You've had clips go viral. You also blew up on Clubhouse when Clubhouse was, right? Didn't you do a big thing on Clubhouse?
Yeah, I was one of the top influencer on Clubhouse.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so I think I just get lucky at time, I didn't even know how I blew up there. So that's kind of the thing. I remember there are so many big, MC Hammer, they're all in my Clubhouse panel.
That's cool.
I did all those big kind of panel, and just all the people showed up.
That's great.
Yeah, I don't know, Clubhouse kind of went away.
Yeah, it was the pandemic. I remember it became really popular, but a lot of comedians found their voices there because the clubs weren't open.
Yes.
So you were at home hoping no one gets COVID, and then here comes this platform of an audience to hear. I was listening when it first came out, but that's so cool. It's like you said, any way to work on your material to find an audience works now,
Yeah, exactly. At the time, everyone stay home, and then people just kind of rely on each other's voice. And I think that's one thing about a podcast and Clubhouse. I like it. It's you get to know that person through their voice.
Yeah.
It's not just the visual thing, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I do both of these. We do video here. We also do audio. So depending on how people are watching or listening, they can either imagine you or they can see you. But you get to choose,
Yeah,
and you do video for yours too,
Yeah, I like that as well because sometimes I feel I want to see this mysterious person's face or something, right?
Yeah.
I like it.
It's like audiobooks. You used to only have an imagination for audiobooks. Now you can hear the author sometimes. People act it out.
Yeah.
The world's evolving. I love that there's so many ways to do interesting storytelling now, we have this as an interview forum. You could do clips. Clubhouse, you could be talking to thousands of people. I'm sure you had thousands of people at once at some point,
Yeah. I remember Clubhouse was huge. Everyone, I was spending 7 or 8 hours on Clubhouse.
Wow.
During pandemic.
That's cool.
I didn't know because at that time everyone stay home.
Yeah, you had something. Hey, it's a good outlet, right?
Yeah, same as right now. We are gonna have, right now it's a strike. So many people in the industry are taking break. Of course, sometimes you have to go on strike. But as stand-up comedian, we still get to perform doing live shows.
Totally.
Yeah.
I just wrote a new strike joke. Can I test it out on you?
Oh, please.
Everybody in this town is all up in arms striking about AI, right? I don't see what the big deal is. You've had the A forever. It's just one letter. So what? You're all artificial and no intelligence. So acting's going to become intelligent. So what? A lot of actors don't like that one, you know.
I know. So that's the thing. People said,
What do you think?
I made so many skits comedy about ChatGPT.
Yeah?
And I didn't post it yet because I don't
You're
want
scared?
I don't want to get canceled right now.
What are they going to do with it? What are they going to do? How can a writer and actor cancel you now? What are they going to do? You're not going to get casted one day, maybe? They're not casting.
Yeah.
They're the actors and the writers. You're fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I heard like what's other comedian, they had this huge lawsuit with ChatGPT. They're talking about how ChatGPT will kind of copy your like joke writing style.
Yeah, it could.
So nowadays people can go on ChatGPT and say, "Hey, I want ChatGPT to write some jokes for me." So ChatGPT will kind of write jokes for you.
Wait a second. You just made me think of an idea because about the roast we're going to do. But because we've been talking, maybe I'm going to put in your specifics and ChatGPT. Wait, is this going to like anger writers, you think?
Oh, like you said, don't worry about it, right?
So I'm a lazy joke writer because I'm interviewing you. So for kicks, real quick, in perfect topical nature about the writer's strike, I'm gonna roast you right now. You know they don't do roast well. ChatGPT like won't be mean. So I'm writing in that right. I'm writing. Hold on. You can think of your roast for me. I'm gonna make ChatGPT do mine. Ready?
Yeah.
Hold on. Here we go. Now I'm using AI, which means maybe the writers have a point here. Okay, here we go. I bet you it's going to be terrible, though. The thing is, this doesn't really do a good job.
So do you pay your subscription on
No,
ChatGPT, Paul?
it's free. It's free.
I pay like if you pay like $20 per month, they can do lots of things for you.
Okay, here you go. Really?
Yeah, I paid the but
Here's
I
what ChatGPT has to say about my roast. This is. Oh wait, stop. This is ChatGPT's roast against Cat. This is so bad.
Please.
Why did the Chinese comedian who loves swimming start a comedy routine about her dog and video game playing boyfriend? Because she found the perfect formula for laughter. Swim, woof, game over.
Ooh.
That's not a joke, dude.
I mean, game over.
I mean, this is why I like ChatGPT as a writer. It can help us find new ways.
Yeah, I mean, you can also kind of refine. Like sometimes I use like ChatGPT to write some of my skits,
Yeah.
and I don't like some parts. I will rewrite a little bit.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah.
There was this comedian who was obsessed with swimming, her lovable dog, and her video game addicted boyfriend. One day, she decided to blend all three passions into her comedy act. She said to the audience, "My life is like a hilarious video game. When I dive into the pool, my dog thinks I'm playing fetch. And when I finally get my boyfriend to take a break from his games, he acts like a fish out of water." The crowd burst into laughter, and from that day on, she became known as the swimming comedian who could hook an audience with her doggone funny jokes. This is not usable. See, this is my point. See, we're pro writers on this show. This is not usable on stage. I'm going to cut it out of this episode. It was so bad.
Yeah, you can take certain words, right? Like just like, yeah, we still prefer writing ourselves. I need to write the roast joke for you.
All right, right? You need to take some time for the roast joke?
Yeah, I have to. While you're talking, I'm gonna write it.
Oh, wow. She's better than me. Well, I got to think about I got all your specifics, but I have no joke in my head. But ChatGPT didn't help me at all. Which I think there's a good lesson in what I just did. It's that they're not going to write screenplays. It's not going to write a good TV show. I actually tested it. I wrote a whole episode of Friends on ChatGPT. It wasn't funny. It wasn't even legible. It wasn't even something airable. Maybe though in the future it will become so smart AI that it'll maybe replace creatively some things, but I don't think we're there yet. And I think that if we can find a way to use it as a tool, that would really help. I think I might try and react to your roast in real time. She's gonna kill me. She does this professionally, guys. This is gonna be fun.
Oh my gosh, I just read this joke, but I don't want to do this joke to you.
Please crush me and just see my reaction because I bet you have nothing back.
Okay, this joke I
actually just got one. I got one for you too. Boyfriend works in video games. She's got a dog. She loves swimming.
Oh my gosh, this is like This is gonna be really bad. I don't want to ruin your relationship with your wife.
Oh, I love this. I'm already excited now. I'm so excited. Now, this is ChatGPT or is this your brain?
This is just my brain.
This is ChatGPC. See what I did there? ChatGPT.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
There's my joke. I better warm up for my show tonight. I feel like I'm bombing right now with my joke, so I gotta get stronger for tonight. And do you do the roast ballad at the Comedy Store? Have you done it?
Yeah, I did a couple times.
That's
I did
cool.
it 4 times already. The first time I won, and then I lost 2 battles.
Oh, wow.
That's like, that's kind of like a situation.
Good,
Sometimes
good
you
badge
lose.
of honor, yeah.
Sometimes you lose, sometimes you win, right?
That's life, huh?
yeah, just
That's
like that.
life.
But like you said, it's kind of like hard for some comedian to take it. I have a friend, she was like, I would never ever want to roast anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I know sometimes it can get very personal.
But that's when it's funny.
Yeah, roasting. It's just like you really have to be like able to like just handle like as a comedian. I feel sometimes you just have to.
Yeah.
Right.
I also think for me, where I grew up, it's a sign of affection. Like the more we poke fun at each other, my friends, the more we love each other. Like it's like the
my
jugular.
gosh, that's so funny you
I love
said
that. I love that.
I do want to ask you this about Italian culture as well, because I have another friend. She's Hispanic, right? She said, while her family, they love to just kind of like fuck each other up, like talk about it, just making fun of each other. That's funny.
Yeah,
and that's
same.
how they show love to each other. So for Italian culture, that's the same, right?
Sì, ma quando I miei genitori sono venuti da Italia, loro sono. Oh wait, in English, sorry. Yes, especially growing up in Jersey and New York, the more you poke fun, like the more it's a sign of love. Especially with my buddies, like a bunch of my buddies I went to school with growing up, like we are absolute savages to each other. And some people as we get older, can't handle it. Like some people get softer. I'm doing stand-up all the time, so for me, it's like a sport. It's like, let's go. That's why the roast battle is intriguing to me because I kind of come from that with my friends.
Okay.
But I know them well enough to really get at the jugular. We just met, so I don't know you well enough, but I'll still try something.
Please be brutal to me.
No, be brutal to me.
Yeah. Like, the thing is that I should not, like,
Let's do it. Are you ready?
Okay. I already had this one, but So, Paul looks like a Jersey Shore fuckboy dad. Who would fuck his babysitter while making pizza? I don't know. Like, this is like, I mean, I could write an even better one.
Yeah, but
this
my response is, you think I'd be looking at the babysitter, but your boyfriend just looked at you for the first time as he finally took his VR goggles off.
I like this one. You respond so well.
See? I want to work on my responses.
Yes, I think
Was that good?
That's a good one, though. That's a really
I didn't
good one.
expect you to go that dirty. That was good.
No. I like it because I feel like the best, like the way to roast each other is how you respond to the jokes.
Yeah, I was trying to do a response for you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So then, cool. When you roast me later on, I have to learn how to respond, like the jokes.
Should I try another one? Should we try another one?
Sure.
Another roast?
If you want to do another roast, I'm done.
Yeah, okay. I don't get why Kat is so into doing roasts because she does it more than once a week on her podcast, and I think that's enough because it's hotter than my pizza oven in her car.
Yes, exactly. So I just wanted people bring their pizza to my car and get their pizza cooked and roast their ass off in my car.
Yeah, I did. I'm trying to get you. I'm trying to get you.
Yeah,
Roasting's fun.
I need to be meaner though. That's another thing.
I
Yeah.
liked it. You were mean enough. People call me Paulie C growing up from the Jersey Shore because of Paulie D, the show.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And I'm from Jersey, and none of those guys are from Jersey, so it always bothered me. That show was like my shadow.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. See, like Paul, that's why you need to have your like last name called like a Paulie C.
Paulie C, yeah.
Paulie C. And
I'm thinking of another roast for you, but I mean, how bad do people get with you? Like people roast you at the Comedy Store like aggressively?
oh yeah, very aggressively.
That's what's fun about it.
Yeah, super aggressive.
Yeah.
Because people want to win the battle.
Yeah,
They just want, and also like they know at the time, at that moment, you have to on the stage.
What's the most hurtful one? Do you remember one you could just tell us?
So
for fun?
many. I don't remember exactly. Like people always like, I mean like there are so many different jokes. I think the one time people said what, like sometimes I would do this. After roast, my opponents and I were sending each other the jokes we write for
Nice.
each other.
Nice.
So we'll go over it. I would look at all the jokes because like at a roast battle, you only have 3 jokes, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So like some like comedian, they'll write 20 jokes. Like she will send all the jokes to me,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I will pick and say, oh, okay, this one's good, and this one's good.
But
Like,
they're going against you, and they'll still tell you the joke.
I mean, afterwards.
Oh,
after
after.
the battle. So they don't tell because I think it's gotta have that surprise,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
so
yeah.
after the battle, I will go ask them. I say, hey, can you send me all the jokes you wrote about me?
Yeah,
So I will
yeah.
go write. I will read all. It's kind of like you read the mean tweets
Yeah,
about
yeah.
yourself.
It's so mean. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like people writing like all the, but I'm kind of used to it because like people on internet can be so mean.
Totally. Yeah.
Like I post lots of skits comedy. The thing like I cannot even read some mean comments people write like
Brutal. Yeah.
on my YouTube shorts.
Totally.
Say Paul gets so like just so bored about my talking, and Paul just want to fall asleep right now
I didn't. I just yawned. I have kids.
after roasting.
After roasting, yeah, after sweating, I was like, "Oh, I just sorry." See, you're roasting
that's
me as I
roasting,
look at you. Yeah, you're getting me.
Yeah, so people can be so mean like
Yeah.
on internet.
Yeah.
Like I always like say, okay. I mean, like lots of them, they just like maybe they just stay in their mom's garage, have nothing to do. They
Yeah.
just want to write those things about you and put you down.
Was that a roast at me because this is my mom's garage here?
This is your mom's garage.
No, no, I'm just kidding. No.
Speaking of that, there is another podcast I like. I think Tom Segoya and
Oh,
his
yeah,
wife
yeah.
has a
Yeah, your mom's house.
your mom's house. Yeah.
They're great.
That's
They're
good
great.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like this is. By the way, I have to say this is beautiful
Thank
garage.
you. Thank you.
I like the street lights.
Thank you.
And it looks like pretty fancy for garage. And you have like a refrigerator.
We made it. We fancied it up. It's like a living room vibe now. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm grateful you came to hang out with me, and it's so good to get to know you. I love your comedy. I think it's so fun to chat, and like we're going to
you.
continue to. I want you to remember this. Next time we do this, I want to roast you on stage. You roast me. Now we're friends.
Yeah.
So we know more about each other. I'm going to spin my wheels, and I'm going to rip on you even worse in a public forum next time I see you.
Oh, please. Yeah. I think I'm going to make you my roast partner as well.
That'd be fun.
We can do lots of roast together.
I could definitely rebut people because where I'm from. I'm just used to that. You want to make fun of me? I'll come right back.
Okay, good. I'm
So-
glad. Like, there's no harsh feelings at all.
Never. This is Hollywood. We got to have thick skin, right?
Yeah, exactly.
For people who don't know, also tell everyone about your podcast and where we can follow you and everything.
Okay, yeah, my podcast is called Cat Jam in the Car. Paul just did that. Basically, just get a roast in my car, summertime. And if you come to my podcast, bring the pizza, bring anything you want to cook. After you've done the podcast, all the food
It'll be
are
done.
ready. Yes. So basically, get it roasted there as well. And yeah, you can check out my podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts. Yeah.
And check her out all over LA doing shows, and eventually in a town near you when she tours the country.
One day, hopefully.
One
I
day.
will. Yeah.
Well, it's so good to get to know you. Thanks for coming on and hanging in here. What a fun day.
Thank you so much, Paul, for having me. And this make me feel so bad. Like, when I come to your fancy garage, I realize how bad my podcast was. And
No.
I have no self-esteem right now.
No, your podcast was great, and I know you have to go do a doggy paddle with your dog in the pool. Whatever you do with your
Yeah,
swimming
totally.
and your dog.
I love doing like a doggy paddle with my dog because my name is Kat.